We find ourselves in the castle interior once again, one of the game's most decorated and ancient environments, home to many previously discussed secrets, oddities, and unexplainable deaths. Luckily, we're not talking about an individual detail this time around. Instead, we make our way to the infamous lava room, probably the most eccentric location in the game. I think it's about time we find out more about this place, about its purpose in RE4. Why does something like this even exist in the first place? When was it established, and if they're using it to discard the bodies of those who oppose the will of Sadler? We'll cover all of these questions and more in this video, so let's take a closer look and see what we can find. Just outside the lava room, Leon notices this weird contraption leading to the entrance. He tells Ashley to wait in case she falls in and burns to death apparently, the faint glow of lava emanating below, foreshadowing the upcoming room before we've even had a chance to register what we're even looking at. This will be excused as another gimmick as we jump through a rotating platform like it's an obstacle course, destroy massive dragon statues in an effort to reach the last third of the Chimera insignia, at which point we can access the second half of the castle. There's very little information regarding the lava room in-game, or the dragon room as it's named in the wiki. There is actually none. Just going off the top of my head, I suppose we should look more into the Salazar family tree to try and find something of significance, to find out who constructed such a place and for what reason. The first name that sticks out to me is Gregorio Salazar II, who earned the moniker the Architect due to his ambitious expansion projects within the castle grounds. It's stated that this occurred because of his father's death, which subsequently led Gregorio to bankrupt the entire family in an effort to secure the castle and its residents from further harm. He went mad in the process, and a project like this just seems like something only he would do. We know now that Salazar turned on his family heritage and embraced Las Plagas, having since turned this section of the castle into a playground of sorts. But initially, the lava may have been used for warding off Las Plagas infected creatures. The second suspect in the royal family is Alejandro Salazar, who was around more recently than Gregorio was, and also experimented in renovation work, albeit not quite on the same scale. His most notable projects were the courtyard, which was later turned into a maze by Salazar. At least that's my theory since he says this.
Mr. Kennedy, still alive I see. So, do you like my garden?
I see you've managed to work in a little of your twisted taste here too.
And he also created the ballroom. It seems like he had a more romantic thought process and probably wasn't the type of guy who would make the dragon room, but I could be wrong. Lastly, we have Ramon Salazar himself. Unlike the others, there's many pieces of evidence to suggest that he constructed, or at least employed the lava as seen in game. Firstly, these structures don't seem antiquated enough to have been made hundreds of years ago. Things like the rotating platform and weaponized dragon heads were likely designed under Los Illuminados' rule. What we assume as lava is actually molten iron designed for molding weaponry and the suits of armor. According to Sadler's demand for world domination, he experimented with non-living hosts alongside biological weapons such as liver generators. Under his will, suits of armor were likely in high demand, to be later used as a key weapon of mass destruction because of their durability. Armaduras, as they're called, are the result of successful projects to control and sustain Las Plagas using only a humanoid form. These can all be seen throughout the castle, a disturbing reminder that Las Plagas could have easily taken over the world if not for Leon. So now we know more about why the dragon room was invented. As well as being an extremely dangerous environmental hazard, it was mostly used to store large deposits of iron. Sadler and Salazar then used this to fortify the castle with elaborate traps and hazards that we see every 2 seconds. The swinging blades above the sewer, machine guns hidden beneath floors, chains, weapons, and most importantly, suits of armor. What most people don't know is that there's one suit in particular that, if used by Sadler, would have had power on the same scale as Krauser, U3, Mendez, and even Salazar. In 3-3, we've reached the opposite side of the wall where Ashley was trapped. In this same room, we witness the death of Lewis. Ada's hidden around the corner, and the merchant is Sadler as we know, and he walked up behind him from his vendor, which is 2 meters away. Other topics aside, if we turn our focus to the ground floor, we can spot the Merciless Knight, a boss that was expanded upon in the remake, yet in the original game lies restless like a statue. No one really knows why this thing exists. It's a very menacing suit, and it proves the theory that Salazar was using these suits as weapons, since this is way too big and heavy for a person to use. This isn't a relic of the family's past, nor is it a decoration of any sort. No, this was the newest addition to Sadler's lineup. Thank God Leon put an end to Sadler before this beast was released into a public city. But why is this thing so massive and the others aren't? Surely you can't fit an ordinary Plagas inside of this. Well, there's 2 species of Las Plagas in RE4, the normal Plagas that are shared amongst every Los Illuminados cultist, Ganado and BOW experiment, and the dominant species Las Plagas, a genetically engineered variant that have an aggressive tendency to cause severe and rapid mutations in its hosts. The reason why they were so scarcely used by Sadler was because he could not control it like he could the regular Plagas, so only his most trusted soldiers were granted such a privilege. This massive iron husk was definitely intended for hosting a dominant species Las Plagas, or perhaps a collective of parasites that could have feasibly moved this much weight and still swung a sword. My theory for why he didn't see this experiment through to the end was because he simply could not control it. Ultimately, it was too dangerous to give the Merciless Knight free will. Either way, had these experiments proven to be more effective, the resource of iron in the Dragon Room would have created an army that could have fulfilled Sadler's dream of world domination easily.
As already stated, if our plan doesn't go as smoothly as expected, we'll proceed with our secondary plan. By sending in our special forces, we will infiltrate the country from within. Fear and chaos will spread through the nation like a virus.
Before I end, there's one more pool of lava in the room where we fight the double El Gigantes. This is just a supposition, but remember in a previous video when I said that all of the villages and castles' mines were connected? The mine where we fight the Bella sisters probably links back up with the excavation site and so forth. This was so they had an easy route to collect and deposit their iron into this room, which is why it's right next door to the Plagas mine, at the very bottom of the castle. That concludes this mystery. I wanted to talk about the lava room for a while, but I didn't know what to make of it and if there was any mysteries here to uncover. Obviously, this was just a small theory of mine, and I'd be happy to hear what you think was the purpose of this room, and if they had any other intentions with it. Thanks again, and if you want to send any suggestions for the next RE4 mystery, please share them in the comments or send them to my email.